So
honestly, I think Jeff Green did have a good year, but I still
we didn't give him a grade yet, did we?
No, we did not.
Give it to me. Jeff Green.
Jeff Green, I would give him a. I want to say A-, but I'm going to give him a B+.
I'd give him A- would be a little bit hefty.
Yeah, I can't give. The thing is, some games he gets an A, but then there's some games where he gets the C- or D+.
Maybe even a D. Yeah.
Honestly, though, I really like Jeff Green's game. I think it's kind of unfortunate. I think he might be one of the players we let go moving forward, based off those inconsistencies. But as far as the season goes, he was a good leader. Especially, Rondo was out for so long. He was probably our best player until Rondo got back, and he truly did have some great games. I love the game versus the Wizards, where that overtime game where he
39-point game.
Yeah, drew the contact, still made the
huge shots.
Still made the three.
Absolutely.
Definitely talented. It's kind of unfortunate that his legacy in Boston will always be kind of dominated by the inconsistent, argument. But he does give it his all. Got to give him a B+ for trying.
The fact that he played every single game.
Yeah.
Started every single game.
Yeah.
He never took a night off.
Yeah.
And what I've been reading, Danny Ainge, for one, said that he is what he expected him to be because he didn't expect him to be the go-to guy.
Sure.
He's not Paul Pierce.
Yeah.
As much as people want him to be Paul Pierce, I'm sorry, he is not Paul Pierce. He's never going to be Paul Pierce, unfortunately. Not unfortunately. It just is. He just isn't Paul Pierce. Yeah. And I think people expected him to just get thrust into this role.
People expect him to be like a LeBron just because of that size, and it truly is unfair.
It is.
But
I think that's the only reason that people are on him, because he's getting unfair expectations.
Yeah. He is a piece, though, that can help someone win.
I don't
think... I remember Roddy White. Remember that he got on Jeff Green for being soft?
Yeah.
I hated that comment because it's not that he's soft. He's just... He can play so many different roles. It's kind of up to the coaches to kind of plug him in where they think is best for their scheme. I don't think it's a talent thing with him, for sure.
Right. Tough expectations, but it'll be interesting to see where he goes in the future.
Sure.
So, speaking about the future, I want to jump to the future now that we've exhausted this season.
Good.
I know you have some different points. What do you see happening in the next couple of years?
I think this current offseason, we're going to draft a couple of good players. I know we'll get a top 5. We'll probably land around top 5. I think at the worst we could get 8. I think I read that somewhere.
Either 7 or 8, yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll get within the top 5.
I know 33% chance to get a top 3 pick.
Yeah.
And then I think 4 or 5 is probably like 60, 70%.
Yeah. And in this draft, it doesn't. It's a matter of pick your
poison.
Yeah, exactly. But and then the Hawks pick, the Hawks pick, I think is like the 17th.
The Nets pick.
The Nets pick is the 17th.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So that's fine as well. It's good talent there.
2 top 20 picks.
Sure, but so I think that we'll draft some good players. I think we actually will retain more players than people think.
I've been thinking about that a lot.
You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna keep Kelly. I hope we keep Phil Pressey. I think Chris Humphries is a guy we explore. If it doesn't work with the numbers, we let him walk. But one guy there are a couple of guys that really intrigue me. One of them being Lance Stevenson, and I think that the cap's jumping up an additional $10 million for next year. I think if we do lose Humphries, that's too bad, but we do gain back a lot of money. And I think choosing a guy like him would be good because given in a couple of years that there's going to be a lot of great free agent centers out there, I think... Tell
the crowd some of them. Who we got coming up in a couple of years?
All right. Actually, I'm just going to read through these because this is a pretty hefty group. We got Paul Millsap, Brooke Lopez, who actually I think would be a great fit with the C's, and the Nets are going to be terrible in 2 years. Especially if Kevin Garnett retires after this season, mind you, next season, they're just not going to be the same team. I think he could be a good fit. Al Jefferson, maybe getting up there in age, but...
He'd love to have him back.
He'd love to have him back. Boozer, maybe getting up there in age, but, it couldn't be a terrible option. Varejao, he's going to want to go somewhere where he can win. Just after all these terrible seasons.
He's such a good player.
He really is.
He really is. Rebound machine.
He was great in those Celtic Cavs playoff matchups early in his career, and he He's a workhorse.
He is the guy who can actually give you 20 rebounds, consistently even.
Yeah. One guy I don't have on this list that I think could be interesting is Fareed from the Nuggets.
Kenneth Fareed.
I don't know when he is a free agent. I think might be this summer, but I'm not sure on that.
I think it might be.
I think he would be excellent. I think he played with Rondo in Kentucky. No.
He went to Morehead State.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I still think. I mean, him and Rondo could still be something else.
Well, because he's an energetic, physical guy who just can dunk with the best of them.
And I think that he's young.
He's very young.
Yeah, and I think that
24.
That could give us some options moving forward. Another guy on the list, Kevin Love. I think he'd just be such a natural fit with the C's because he's fast, and I think Rondo plays better in an up-tempo game.
I have one question before you go on.
Yep.
Now that we're on Kevin Love.
Sure.
I've asked multiple people this. I saw a report, no truth to it yet, but possible Rajon Rondo for Kevin Love trade. I think it was straight up.
Wow.
And I want to know, since you're already pegging Rondo for the future, if that was offered, would you do Rondo for Love? I think I know what your answer is going to be, but I'm interested to see what you say.
I think my answer would be no.
That's what I thought you'd say.
Because the thing is, you made the point about Sullinger being 21. I mean, we're going to have to see how good he gets moving forward.
Right.
And also I think Rondo, I mean, we're going to build around him, and he can bring home a championship for sure, and probably pretty quickly, because the Eastern Conference is kind of abysmal besides the Heat and maybe the Pacers.
Absolutely.
But to answer your question about this summer, we're going to get a couple good players in the draft. I hope we land, good guard, maybe forward, free agent. But Danny Ainge probably... I don't think we're going to make it back up to like a number 1 seed or anything like that. But we'll address some needs, and we'll have to gauge it. I think players, maybe like Allen Anderson on like the Nets.
Yeah.
I think like maybe adding players like that is kind of our next step in the process. Just like going from guys like Chris Johnson, who are kind of like hard-working guys, to more like established. Like, what you're going to get from them more. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just about effort. It's more about results and knowing what you have. Even if the ceiling isn't as high, it's still at the moment better. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so then just to wrap up, my last question would be, I know we don't know what's going to happen. Nothing has happened yet.
Yeah.
But if you just had a crystal ball, just thinking about things that may happen, around what record would you give the team, and around what place in the Eastern Conference would you give the team next year?
Next year?
I know it's an extremely tough question because we don't even know what's going to happen.
Sure.
But just for the sake.
I would probably peg us high 40 wins. Because the thing is, I don't think that we're going to be able to assemble all of the pieces over the summer. I think it's going to take a couple seasons, and I think it might even take another trade deadline to finally get everything we actually want. So high 40s, I mean, maybe lower. It depends how well we do this summer, but I'd say that's a fair guess.
So then for seeding-wise, I would think somewhere between 4 and 6 maybe?
We'll definitely make the playoffs. I think a lot of these players who have made it, I think between 4 and 6 is probably a fair guess.
It's hard to know with the Eastern Conference what exactly wins in terms of seeds would turn out to be. Yeah. But I think mid to upper 40s would probably be somewhere around 4 to 6, maybe even 3.
Right, and considering that the Heat and the Pacers are really the only locks going, every year, it's just
absolutely.
The fact that the Raptors claim 3rd seed.
Yeah,
it's pretty incredible. So.
I know, 48 wins.
Yeah.
You got anything else, or?
Nah, I think I'm all set.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes,
appreciate it. Hope you all enjoy this video, and the summer will happen, and we'll see what happens on it.
Appreciate that. Yep.
All righty.